All right, so today we are scoping about Scrivener. And I'm going to show you the hands-down simplest way to use Scrivener. Because if you're anything like me, you like using new tools. It's kind of fun, but it's really easy to get overwhelmed. And so I don't want the tool to overwhelm you to the point that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to read the instruction manual and take a course before I can start writing in this software, right? Okay. Because the tools are fun, but they're also a really good excuse to procrastinate. So if you're interested in using Scrivener, but you want to avoid that tendency to procrastinate, I'm going to show you the simplest way to write a book. I know it works because this is how I wrote my book that was published in June. We're literally going to look at my Scrivener file and how I wrote my book. And y'all are going to be like, when you see this, you're going to be like, but it's so simple. And I'm going to say, yes it is. And I wrote my book in less than 3 months because it was a really simple system. Alrighty guys, so first you should know that I take scope notes for you, because when I watch scopes, I'm usually cooking dinner or hanging out or eating lunch, and I don't have a pen with me, even if I want to take notes. So I take notes for you. So I'm going to show you that link, and then also I'm going to show you a link to a webinar that I am doing on Wednesday. And the webinar is called The 5 Habits of... Well, I should get this title right. Hold on a second. Talk about not planning well. I'm going to show it to you. Oops, not 6 habits, 5 habits. The 5 essential habits of successful authors. I'm doing that on Wednesday. I'm going to walk through all of my best advice that I give to authors before they start writing so that their writing is successful and productive. So let me show you those links real quick. For the scope notes, go over to my website, paperravenbooks.com/periscope. And when you do that, you will go to this awesome page where I keep all of the replays and notes and transcripts. So you don't ever have to worry about that. And then if you go to paperravenbooks.com/5 habits, you can check out this webinar that we're doing called The 5 Essential Habits of Successful Authors. So if you want to write a book and you feel like you are procrastinating and making excuses and can't quite get started, you need these 5 habits to get started, stay motivated, and finish your book. So we're doing that next week. Look at that timer. Doesn't that look intimidating? 5 days, 22 hours, 9 minutes, 21 seconds. It looks like 24 or something. Anyway, it'll be really fun. I've done a couple webinars. They've been awesome, so I would love to see you guys on that. All right, but let's get going. Oh, no, we can't get going. You don't even know who I am. I am Morgan Gist McDonald. I'm a writing coach and editor and author, and I help people write books. I walk you through from your initial idea, step by step, chapter by chapter, through your entire manuscript, and we get your book done, edited, proofread, ready to publish and submit. Darnell, I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, yeah, watch the replay later. That's totally cool. It'll be on Catch or it'll be on YouTube. So I will catch you later, Darnell. Alrighty, so I help you guys write your books. And if you have been in the writing sphere, you know Scrivener is an often talked about software. You also probably have heard people talk about these courses and things that they recommend that you take in order to write a book in Scrivener. And I have taken those courses, and I don't use the information because I like things simple. I can't be bothered with all of these little keyboard shortcuts and folder organization systems and stuff like that. So if you're intrigued by Scrivener but intimidated by the amount of information it might need to get going, was just thinking, heck, you're quiet when I bring volumes down. I hope y'all can hear me. Let me know if you are having volume issues. But yes, turn the volume up. That's always a good thing. So I'm going to show you my Scrivener screen, and this is the book that I wrote. Started writing it in February, published it in June, and just using this one Scrivener file. The reason I like Scrivener, okay, actually let's contrast this with Word. Oh, I'm louder now, good. When you write a book in Word, I usually recommend that you have separate chapters, separate Word documents for each chapter, because Word corrupts really easily. And if you lose a file, you don't want it to be the whole book. You'd rather it be a chapter, right? Yeah, thanks. If you need to catch later, that's totally cool. Be on YouTube and catch. So you don't want to lose the whole book, right? And hey, Renia. But it gets really cumbersome if you are having different Word files for each chapter, plus research and footnotes and references and all that stuff. And you accumulate dozens and dozens of different Word files that are in all these different folders. Scrivener solves that organization problem. Separate chapters is how I start, and then you combine them. Yes, and Red Herring, what's your name? So I can call you by your actual name. That is exactly right. And you do the same thing in Scrivener. You write the first draft in Scrivener, but when you work with an editor, you cannot use Scrivener. It's terrible. Joe. Hey, Joe. Yes, so it's true. Whether you are working in Word and writing separate chapters and then combining at the end, or whether you're working in Scrivener and then you export at the end, either way, you have to create one file to work with your editor back and forth. I wish there was a better way to work with authors. I am an editor, so I have to do this process all the time. I wish there was a better way to work with authors, but right now, that's just how it is. So, let me flip you around and show you, the problem that Scrivener solves is that it allows you to store lots of files within one interface, and it's very simple to click from one file to the next. So if you need to read different parts of a chapter or copy and paste or reference something and then bring that reference into the text, you only have one window open. It's really easy to navigate between windows. You can imagine the opposite. If you're working with Word and lots of different files, you might have anywhere from 12 to 20 files open, which, if your computer is old like mine, would crash your computer. So Scrivener opens one file and you can easily access all the different stuff in your book. It is not free, it is $45, but I use it all the time for all of my writing. And today I'm just showing you the book, how I wrote the book in Scrivener, and then tomorrow I'm showing you how I write everything on an ongoing basis in Scrivener. So let me flip you guys around so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's not that expensive, $45. I mean, it's nothing compared to like a Microsoft, software. Okay, so when you open up a Scrivener file, it looks like this. And let me show you, it looks like this. Okay, this is the wrong one, hold on. Fail, this is my second fail. Okay, recent projects, I cleverly titled it book. Because I'm also, in addition to be simple, I'm really clever. Okay, this is it. This is every file for my book. You can see Scrivener allows you to have folders and documents within folders, but you can click instantly between them. There's no lag time, there's no opening up lots of different windows. This is my free writing folder. This is what I do. I free write for a full week before I start actually writing a book. So you can see I just date them. This is my free writing for February 16th and 17th. I don't know why I put them in the same one, but that's okay. 18th, 19th. So this is my first week of free writing. And this is literally me just, thanks Joe for inviting people. This is literally me just sitting down, starting a timer for 20 minutes, and writing. Whatever, just trying to figure out in my brain, talking to myself, what am I going to write about? And I just let myself roll, type as fast as I possibly can. By the end of about a week, welcome Dave's device. By the end of about a week, I write what I call a rough organization. And so this is not an outline, but it's similar to an outline. So this is my first chapter of the book, Myths and Truths of Becoming a Successful Author. And then I just wrote lines that I wanted to talk about in the book. There's some myths, there's some truths. I wanted a section on why you write a book. I wanted a section on how to prevent self-sabotage. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, it's worked really well. And so it's not so structured like an outline, It's just like my kind of thoughts, line by line, of what I want to cover. And yeah, it's pretty long, but it allowed me to, when I was ready to start writing, I just started at the very beginning. And I was like, okay, and now I'm just going to write straight through. And I liked being able to have it open in Scrivener because I could be in my chapter. So you can see here, okay, there's the folder area for the manuscript, and just the front matter. And then the chapters, this is it. This is like chapter number 1, chapter number 2, chapter number 3. But when I was in them, okay, this is a really cool trick. You can do this in Word also, but I liked being able to do a split screen. So in one screen, I would have my rough organization here, and then I would split the screen, split horizontally. Can you export to Word for formatting? Yes. Yes, you can. I can show you how to do that, in fact. Okay, so here's the rough organization in the top, and then I would open up my chapter, and then I could be looking at the rough organization while I was writing, and I was just literally writing straight through. And not all in one sitting, of course, but 20 to 30 minutes a day. I, like everybody, we're really busy. Ooh, you like that? Oh, thanks, Joe. We're really busy, and so I was writing in 30-minute chunks in the morning. I had a newborn at the time, and she's 10 months old now, but she was 4 months when I started the book writing process. And I'd get up and give her 4:30 a.m. feeding, put her back down, and write for 30 or 40 minutes every day. And in 3 months, I had a book published. So there's all my chapters. It's not a super long book. It's like 30,000 words or something. Remember those days. Oh yes, I'm still in the thick of them, Joe. Okay, and then I have my end notes and my appendices down here, and then I have some other miscellaneous notes here. But you'll notice all of this is super accessible. Joe, do you self-publish or traditional? Self-publish, and we can talk about a little bit about that at the end too. We can do a little bit of Q&A, and talk about the differences between the types of publishing. And that's it, guys. You wrote 2 books after your baby arrived. Yep, that's awesome. I mean, it's a hard phase of life, but it's also you have more. You realize how precious your time is, and you start using it for more valuable things. But you could publish them. Alrighty, so I just want to re-emphasize that Scrivener does not have to be hard. It can be useful because the interface allows you to move quickly from one separated section to another. It also allows you to rearrange things. So if you want to write, let me get rid of the split real quick. If you want to write in smaller sections, this little corkboard thing allows you to move things around into different orders. Fiction people especially like this. Non-fiction people were usually such linear thinkers that we don't care so much. But what did I do with time before the kids? So much wasted. I know, it's true. It's crazy. I feel the same way. Okay, so let me, and then exporting. Let me show you how to export. So when you're finished writing, you highlight all of the relevant files that you want to export. I don't usually worry about exporting endnotes and appendices right now because your editor is not going to care about them at first. You should do your first full edit before you worry about appendices and references. So I should have practiced this. Here it is, compile. Alrighty, there are different features that you can toggle on and off. Gotta go, Joe. Okay, yeah, catch the rest on replay. It'll be on my YouTube channel and on Catch, K-A-T-C-H. K-A-T-C-H. Thanks for joining. Catch you later. Alrighty. There was one thing that I usually change. But I can't remember what it was. Oh, here we go. In the transformations, I usually look at these. There's like you can straighten out your smart quotes. I like to leave the smart quotes. Convert your M-dashes to hyphens. There's other things here where you can convert italics to underlines or remove highlighting, stuff like that. So I usually try to pay attention to this page, the transformations page. And then I just export, compile for docx, hit compile, and it creates a new file that I then share. Oh, here's a quick little tip too. I always, this is a naming convention that everyone in the world should adopt. Date. Put your date on your file. Put your name on your file. Date. I do year, month, day, and name. And that way, when you go back and forth with your editor or with your co-author, you know when this file was touched last and by whom. So, export. And that's it. So easy. All right, let me flip you guys back around. And that's it. It's so simple. But it's so much better than Word. So it's so much better than Word, but not so crazy that you need to take a course to figure out how to write a book in Scrivener. You just don't. It's like, just open it up, play around with it, create a minimal number of files, and then as you get used to it, maybe your first book writing in Scrivener is really, or article, or whatever you're writing, is really simple, and maybe your next book has a lot more research or images or whatever, and then you can add layers of complexity as you become familiar. Is it better to use on a Mac? I have only used it on Mac, but it is available for Windows too, so I think it's really similar. I think it's basically the same interface. Was it Joe who asked about publishing? Trying not to get into the whole Mac versus PC. I know it's dangerous waters, huh? I mean, honestly, they're both good. It does look different, and so I don't know all the different options. But there should still be a compile feature, and there should still be a transformations tab where you can change those things. And no matter what you're using, you should always use a naming convention with your date and your name. I think it was Joe who asked about self-publishing versus traditional publishing, and maybe she had to leave. But just very quickly, and we can do a different scope about this another time. A traditional publisher would be fantastic. That would obviously be route A. If you were able to land a traditional publishing gig, go for it. That would be fantastic. But it's not a walk down a rosy garden path, because what most people don't know about traditional publishers is, A, their developmental editor is probably going to tear your manuscript apart and make you rewrite it. B, you have to publicize everything yourself. You have to sell your own book. That's just the way it is. If you think about a big publishing house and they put out 40, 50, 60, 70 books a year, and they have a publicity staff of maybe 5-6 people. So that means they're putting out more than a book a week, and they have 5 or 6 people to manage the publicity. Yeah, if you're a brand new author, they're not going to spend their time on you. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, unfortunately, that's what most people don't realize about the big traditional publishing world. And so you have to sell your own book. Even if the traditional publisher takes on your project, gives you editors, gives you designers, formats it, sets up distribution, and all of that for you, you still have to sell your own book. So, most publishers will not enter into an agreement with you unless they think that you can sell 2,500 copies of a book. That's a minimum print run for most big publishers, is 2,500 copies. They want to know that you can sell your 2,500 copies so that they can make a bare minimum profit. So if you can't sell that, if you don't have a platform, if you don't have an email list or a huge social media following of at least 10,000 followers, the traditional publisher is going to look at you and say, we don't think that you can sell 2,500 copies of this book, so we're not going to publish it. Enter self-publishing. Self-publishing is now the new way to build your platform so that you can get to traditional publishing. It has now become an intermediate step where you prove yourself and you gain your following and you can then level up into the world of traditional publishing. That's my take on it. I will say, occasionally, just occasionally, you get picked up by a traditional publisher and it's fantastic. So there's no harm in trying the traditional publishing route first. Create your proposal, write out your couple of chapters, write out the whole book if you want, and send it to the traditional publishers, and maybe you'll get some good feedback. Maybe someone will give you some direction that's helpful. And then you take that feedback and you return to plan B, probably, to be perfectly honest. You return to the self-publishing route. So I think there's kind of one of two ways to approach publishing. One is suck it up and do self-publishing and start building your platform. And hopefully you will eventually be able to up-level into traditional publishing. The second option is to go ahead and craft your proposal and write your sample chapters and get an agent and send out query letters and hear back from publishers. You might get picked up, but more than likely you'll probably just get really good feedback so that you can go back to your book, revise, update, and then self-publish. That's kind of how I see it. Anyway, any other questions? What time is it? Oh. it's been a long scope. I'm trying to keep them shorter, like 15, 20 minutes, because my goal here is for you guys to be able to listen to a little bit of writing inspiration and then use the rest of your lunch break to go do some writing. So I always scope every day mostly every day, let's be honest, 4 out of 5 days a week. I scope during the lunchtime time frame, somewhere in there, like the 11 to 1 hour from 11 to 1 hours from Central Time, and we talk about writing, we talk about publishing, we talk about tools, we talk about inspiration and motivation and how writing can change your life, because I really believe it can. So, thank you guys for tuning in today. I am Morgan Gist McDonald. My website is at paperravenbooks.com, and we're doing an awesome webinar next week, paperravenbooks.com/5habits. We'll get you signed up. So, thank you guys. Tomorrow we're talking Scrivener and how I do all of my writing in Scrivener. So, we're going to be looking at blog posts and videos and longer writings and podcasts and how I organize all of the different types of writing in one interface. So that'll be fun too. And then I'm taking suggestions for what y'all want to talk about next week. So I'll be on Twitter later at MorganGMac, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.